Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this presentation as you would a radio broadcast. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the German federal elections, which are coming up pretty soon. I think it's end of next week. And the globalists, quite understandably, are putting extra significance and extra importance on the German election, and more so now since, of course, they've temporarily lost their grip on the United States. So I think Germany is the fourth biggest economy in the world, and in European terms, the German economy is hugely influential, and so the globalists can't afford to lose control of Germany, and so they're subverting and influencing the German federal election. They're influencing it like crazy. Now, if Elon Musk or anyone else says anything, then that's an outrage, and it's election interference. It's this, it's that, it's Hitler and all that sort of thing. But if the globalists do it, well, no, that's okay. That's democracy when we do it. It's only interference when the other guy does it. So, just to give you an idea of just how many the resources that they're pouring into this. There've been a number of crime incidents, if you like, in Germany recently, where illegal aliens or even people that are on temporary visas, that sort of thing, have gone around killing local German citizens, white German citizens, and the media plays it down very considerably. Like if a white person does this to a black person, it's international headlines for weeks on end. But if a brown person kills a few white people, then it's a story for a day or two at best. Now, when just recently there was another incident, I think, where again, 2 or 3 people were stabbed to death by some illegal, and this feeds into the wider mass migration debate, of course. But within a day, maybe 2 days, but within a day, I think it was, the globalists were able to scare up a crowd of over 200,000 people not to denounce mass migration, not to denounce the murders that occurred and the crime that these illegals and brown people bring. No, it's to denounce the Nazis and the fascists and the far right and all. So it's an exact globalist, scripted, coordinated talking point. So the idea that this is some grassroots outpouring by the local citizenry is beyond crazy. It's a complete globalist controlled, funded and organised gig. Now, I had to hunt around a little bit to find the footage of this talk. 250,000 plus are some of the numbers claimed for this turnout, and just having a look at the amount of the infrastructure that's been brought in at such short notice. So the transport, all sorts of buses and so on are being used. They're able to secure the whole area for their purposes very quickly. Normally these things, for a crowd that size, a venue like that, an outdoor sports arena, those sort of things, that would take weeks to organise and plan ahead. But these guys can do it in a couple of days. In fact, not even that. So they can secure the large. I mean, if you're going to have a 200,000 plus person crowd, you need quite a large area. So only a large sporting venue, that sort of thing would do. They're able to acquire this at short notice. Now, normally, if you check on the websites, if you want to hire these places for, the cost is hundreds of thousands of dollars to hire the place, even for a day, and you got to pay extra for like cleanup crews and maintenance crews, effectively insurance policies in the event the crowd wrecks the place or something like that. So very expensive. Now, on top of that, they've got all these portable toilet facilities. There's people distributing food and water. I mean, it's a big operation, and they're able to click this into gear again within a day or two, and get such a huge crowd there. Now, I would estimate that the cost of putting this on at a bare minimum would have been between $3 and $4 million US. And again, on absolute minimum, likely much more than that. But where do they find that sort of money and that sort of crowd? Now, to communicate with a crowd that big, it means you've already got them registered. They're not. You've got to go out and find them, or you just put an advert out in the online or in a local newspaper or something, or post a few bills around. No, that's you've already got those people registered, and you're able to go to them and send them text straight away. Look, here's what's happening tomorrow or the next day. We need you all there. Transport, food, and water and toilets will be provided, and everyone that turns up will get a free day off, with pay. If you're a college kid, you'll get an extra, the equivalent of an extra essay with a AAA grade, marking on it. This sort of thing. So this is something they can just clip their fingers and snap it into gear, and just pull the trigger, push the button, and out of the machine rolls $250,000. Just the cost of printing all the placards and things like that, and the people with the prearranged chants and bullhorns and everything like that. The intercom system to put it all together. Who's administering that list that they can send out emails and texts and so on to that takes administration. Who's paying those administrators? So we're talking a massively expensive, so they can mobilize large numbers of people and large amounts of money. Now, the people that they've got, I would suspect they're mostly public, if not all, public servants and students and things like that. There's nothing grassroots about it at all. So, but that many of them, do they get a day off with pay? It seems so. So this is the power that the globalists have. Now they would again, there's nothing grassroots about this at all. This is international globalization aggressively interfering with the electoral process in the Federal Republic of Germany, and doing so with impunity. They're able to run around and say, we are the protectors, that we, the subverters, the mass subverters of democracy. They're able to run around proclaiming themselves as the protectors of the very democracy that they're aggressively subverting, for goodness sakes. Now, how do you counter this? Seriously, unless the people wake up as they did in the United States and they immunize themselves against this nonsense, then now on top of that, if the Germans think that, if the globalists think that the AfD may come out as the largest political party by some sort of decent margin, keeping in mind that outright victories by a single party in the German electoral system are very rare. So they would have to go into coalition, as we've seen in the Austrian election, that even if the anti-migration party, the anti-mass migration party, thus the anti-globalization party, if the anti-mass migration party even acquires a majority, and if you get over 35% in these European elections in places like Germany, Austria, and Scandinavia, and so on, and Holland, and if you get over 35%, it's huge. But nonetheless, if all the other parties under globalist threat and tutelage and coercion band together, they can still keep the anti-mass migration parties out of office. But on top of that, if the AfD in Germany, the anti-mass migration party, looks like they're going to acquire a substantial majority, high 30s, low 40%, that sort of thing, where you just cannot not have them in a coalition government, then election rigging will, vote count rigging, as we saw in the 2020 presidential election in the United States, where the globalists can just whistle up 20-25% votes out of thin air to make sure their guy gets across the line. So this is what we're having now. I don't know, if Elon Musk buys into the for example, through X, through Twitter, now known as X, if he buys into making pronouncements, say speaking favourably AFD or maybe speaking unfavourably of mass migration, that sort of thing, then he'll be denounced as election interference. There you go, Nazis interfere. But when the globalists do it, they say that's okay. They're allowed to do it, but no one else is. So other than, and I would hope that Mr. Musk will be flooding, German social media with, and maybe the Trump team needs to do a radio of America or broadcast of America or something. Do it all in German and start talking about how, hey, you guys are controlled by the globalists. You need to vote your way out of it right now. And short of things like that happening, I would anticipate that even if the AFD does very well, comes a close second or even first, that the globalists will still keep control and keep the mass migration up and be able to scare up their crowds of 250,000 people to be denouncing Nazis. You've been a Tacitus today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.